Last week, something both amazing and sad happened at the very same exact time. I honestly felt a gut punch live, as I'm sure many of you guys did as well, when it happened. It has to do with when Final Fantasy 16 was re-revealed during the State of Play, and we got an official release date window for the game. If you saw me live reacting to it, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Final Fantasy 16 is not coming out this year. It is actually coming out in summer 2023. Now, a lot of you guys might be wondering, why is that bad news? What does this have to do with Final Fantasy 7 Remake? Well, some of you guys already know where this is going. But the sad truth is, because Final Fantasy 16 is releasing next year in 2023 during the summertime, middle of the goddamn year, this means Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2 will not be coming out next year, and instead may or may not come out in 2024 or later. This is both a very good thing and also a bad thing. First, I'm going to explain the bad portion, which isn't really bad, just more along the lines of being impatient if anything else, in what has felt like a drought realistically, though it has only been 2 years since the last game, but we're feeling kind of thirsty. But Square Enix has stated many times Final Fantasy is going to be a major focus for them in the upcoming years and months. One thing you can track backwards and look at, they have never released 2 major numbered Final Fantasy titles within the same year of another. These games are massive and a big deal for them. They also bring in their biggest amounts of revenue for the company. You might be saying, well, Blitz, Final Fantasy 7 Remake is not technically a new numbered main title for Final Fantasy, while Final Fantasy 16 is. And while you are technically right, you are also very wrong. Final Fantasy 7 Remake is technically a sequel. Baby Seal, don't shoot me, please. But even more so than that, that's besides the point. Final Fantasy 7 is Square Enix's most profitable game of all time. It's their golden goose, which rakes in the craziest amount of money for them, and they are goddamn well aware of this. If you can clearly see their recent releases for the game, over the years as well, for how much title variety exists for it, not just in video games, but overall media from movies, books, figurines, and sex dolls. No, I'm just kidding, that's not Square. But if you want to hook me up with one to review Real Dolls Hub, I got y'all's back on a real solid video. Final Fantasy VII's profits recently just got beaten by Final Fantasy XIV, total profits earned, the critically acclaimed and well-deserved MMO title. However, it took them well over 25 years for something else to finally dethrone Final Fantasy VII in terms of profit, which says a lot. And it was another technical remake with A Realm Reborn that led the way to doing that with its godlike expansions. So that's why Final Fantasy VII Remake being put next to another mainline title game is pretty bad for business. It'll take a lot of shine away. These companies, in order to thrive, plan out release dates with their fiscal years, so they can coordinate a solid few quarters of success, reaching their goals and payoffs. So Square Enix would be shooting themselves in the foot if they release both Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 and Final Fantasy 16 in the same year of 2023. Just like you're shooting yourself in the foot by not being subscribed. Hit the subscribe button and notification bell, guys, because only 30% of you all who watch and love these videos are currently subscribed. Subscribe so you don't miss out on all this crazy stuff happening this month. If you are a Final Fantasy fan especially, I got you all covered on the latest info with all of them, and of course, our live streams where we play old school Final Fantasy games often. Join today and don't miss out on our PlayStation 5 raffle for members only. With that being said, let's get back into the video. There are some fans out there who don't have the luxury to buy multiple games within months of each other. Those same people are watching this video as I speak. I see them in the comments all the time. It's very true and is a reality for some who will not buy Final Fantasy 16 if they know Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2 is releasing close to or around it, because financially they must only choose one. Not everyone's situation is like this, and any big business that thrives off of consumers knows this. But I guarantee you guys there are a lot more people than you think that feel this way. Many people will wait for one to go on sale before they even begin to consider buying it. Forspoken being delayed from May to October was the beginning of it all, because that possibly was an internal call since Square knew that Final Fantasy 16 actually won't be releasing until 2023. So going to the end of this year won't have them clashing together. But now with Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, I had originally thought we were going to be getting it in 2023, which is why I was so surprised about 16 actually coming in 2023. But it's just not going to happen, as I'm sure as greedy as Square is, they want to spread out that income and those releases to keep themselves afloat because they got tons of other titles coming in to hold us over in the meanwhile. With Ever Crisis, the Final Fantasy VII mobile game, covering the entire compilation of the series, newly trademarked games are coming out as well, and a potential Xbox and Steam release of Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. But the good thing about it not coming till 2024 or longer is that we get more content in the game and it's created at a higher quality. Ultimately, this is actually what I want. I want a bigger game. I want a longer experience. I want the most craziest action-packed scenes with the best looking graphics that next gen can support, while also being 60 frames. However long that takes for them to do it, I'm willing to wait for it. But my boiling point would be past 2025. If it's coming out later than that, then it might as well wait for the friggin' PlayStation 6, I'm serious. But really, a longer development time now is much better than when in 2017 we heard about the delays then. Because back then they had to re-scrap the project and start anew. Whereas now we have all the models, assets, and battle sections put together, so development time can be significantly cut down and taken a little bit further. My fingers are crossed that the game goes all the way to the Northern Crater, but that is a deep feat, I can't lie. I'd kill to see it though. Like a flower girl, I kill to see it. But yeah, that wraps it up for this video, guys. Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 is not coming in 2023. In 2023, we will instead see Final Fantasy 16, and then we will get news in 2023 about Remake Part 2's gameplay trailers, updates, and cool insights on what's going on in the game. Until then, we just have to wait a little bit longer for a solid, well-developed, and overall deeper game. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you are new. More Final Fantasy videos are coming your way, and you won't want to miss them. My name is BltzZ, and thanks for watching.